No it don't! No it don't!
Alright, I started with you on teaching you limits or calculus using something called tangents. I've started with tangents. I'm going to end up with tangents. Your very first question in calculus really revolves around a tangent. And I remember this was in your first quiz question. Find the equation of the tangent line. Equation of the tangent line. Yep. For the function f of x equals to 2x squared plus 3x minus 1 at 1, 2. I'm going to pause it. I have to change this a bit. I'm going to make this not 1, 2. This is going to be 2, 5. This will be 1, 4. At 1, 4. Hi. Okay. So if I look at this graph, I'm going to show you what this graph looks like. And I'm going to show you what the question is really asking. Here's my graph that I drew out for you. Okay. They're asking you, I have a point. I'm going to make this a bit bigger for you to see. There's a point 1, 4. 1, 4 right here. Find the equation of the tangent line. And what we did before was we chose another point, somewhere really, really close to it. Because the closer to the point you choose, the more accurate your tangent line is going to be. If I chose this point right here, I'm going to find the slope. And what a lot of you did was say, let x2. We're going to choose a random point. Doesn't matter what you choose. This will be close. Jesseline, what number did you choose? 1 point what? 1.001. We're going to plug it into my equation because I want to know what y2 equals to. And if I plug it in, Jesseline, what's y2?
I don't remember the number, but it's 4 point something.
4.010?
0130 is 5.
Ah, somewhere around there. Okay. So then, there's my 2 points. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the slope formula. M equals to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. I'm going to pause it, let you figure out your slope. Go, guys. Okay. So if I did this correct, I should have m equals to 7.002, roughly around there. Now, problem is this. I can just say that, well, it's going to be so close to 7, let's call this 7. So this m equals to 7. And then what you did was next you go y equals to 7x plus b. Okay. Then we subbed in 1 and we subbed in 4 to find the b value. So you go 4 equals to 7 times 1 plus b, and your b should equal to -3, which should give you y equals to 7x minus 3. Correct. Easy. I started with you on 10. Hey. You got 10? It should be 7. Try again. So I'm going to give you 1 minute. So if you made an error in this, it actually comes from here. Because this number really was supposed to be 4.007. Okay? So that's y2. But the problem with this is that somebody asked me, so how big or how small of a number should I make it? Because the smaller you make it, the more accurate your answer is. So we're going to apply limits to this because we've been doing limits all this time. I'm going to wrap this up with limits to what we did. And this is going to be a bit tricky. So I started with a simple concept. I call this m, the slope of the tangent line. The slope equals to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Everyone agrees with me on that flawlessly. No one says no, I totally agree with you. I have a function, f of x. Okay. F of x can be anything. In this case, I asked you for find the tangent at x equals to a. Okay. Very, very simple. Because I give you, say, find the tangent at x equals to a number. We'll let this number be a. I can rewrite this. So therefore, would you agree that I chose that my first point is fa? This is the same thing as saying y1. Because that's what really y1. Because I sub in fa and I get y1. Then what we did with this question was I chose another point, x2. Here is the trick, and this is where it gets really confusing. x2 really equals to a. Now, some of you say we're going to choose a letter or a number so close to a, but this time I'm going to use h. We're going to go a plus h, because h can be any number, and you want that number to be as small as possible. So really y2, write down what y2 is then. Well, y2 really is f a plus h. It's a really simple, easy concept. I start with x. Well, I know y1 is f of a. I'm going to choose, so I'm going to put everything together now, and I'm going to write this. I want y2, which is f of a plus h, minus, well, y1 really was f of a, over x2 minus x1. x2 minus x1. Problem with this is everything is in terms of a, so why don't I just replace this with a's and h's? So I'm going to rewrite this again as f of a plus h minus f of a over a plus h minus a. Okay, I'm just using just easy concepts, which becomes f of a plus h minus f of a all over h. So really, what you've been doing all this time was we just let a random number. Okay, you chose whatever that was, 0.0014 forward or 0.001 backward. But the problem is, how big or small should we make it? So this is where limit kicks in. I want h to be so tiny that it approaches the tangent perfectly. The question is, what should this magic number be? I want to be so tiny that it should be perfect. This is where you guys can think. Not a. Nope. What should the value of h be? As h approaches, you're close, not 0.0001, even smaller. Approaches 0. Because I want that h value to be so tiny, it's like almost like 0. Because the closer you make it to the a value, the better your answer is. So it'll be a plus h minus f of a over h. That is a true formula for the slope of the tangent line. So what this gives you is slope of tangent line. And this is as accurate as you can make it. You cannot make it any more accurate than this of tangent line. Because I'm letting that little value be 0, or as it approaches 0. But you cannot sub in 0, because the moment you sub in 0, it screws up. So let's go back to my question and apply this formula. And by the way, starting from now, calculus, this is only formula you're going to use. This is a true definition of calculus. Everything in calculus starts with this formula. And this is where calculus truly begins, with this one formula. This is called the definition of a derivative. And it starts with this. So my equation was 2x squared. So let's write this down. F of x equals to 2x squared plus 3x minus 1. If you sub in a value, that is not accurate because you're guessing. What this limit equation does is it gives you the most accurate and precise answer because you're approaching 0. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do this slowly, because if you do this on one shot, it's going to mess you up really big. The first part of this formula says it's going to be f of a plus h. So I'm going to write down f of a plus h. What does f of a plus h equal to? Go ahead, solve it. See, if I have a plus h, this goes back to this concept. This is why algebra has to be good. If I ask you, what does f of 2 equal to? Solve it for me. Well, that's easy. So I just sub in 2 for x. And then that gives you 2 times 2 squared plus 3 times 2 minus 1, which gives you 8 plus 6 is 14. That gives you 13. Because you just sub it in. The question is, now Kieran, you got this correct. What did you do? Wherever I see an x, I sub in a plus h. Because it's the same concept as a 2. So watch what I'm going to do. I go 2 times a plus h all squared plus 3 times a plus h minus 1. Don't multiply it out yet. Just leave it the way it is. See, that's f of a plus h. There's a first part to my equation right here. The second part to my equation is f of a. Okay? Because it's right here. Now we're talking about minus f of a. Write down what does f of a equal to. So really this equation has 2 big parts. So f of a really equals to 2 times a squared plus 3 times a minus 1. There's the second part to my equation. I'm going to put these together now. Watch what I'm going to do carefully. I go 2a plus h squared plus 3 times a plus h minus 1. Be careful about this one. There's a minus sign. Now, I like to put this in brackets to help people out. Some of you can do this without looking. You need brackets, which is fine. 2a squared plus 3a minus 1. See, I didn't change any sign yet. I want you to highlight this bracket right here. Because there's a negative sign here. Change all the signs in there for me, please, because of that negative. So this becomes 2a plus h squared plus 3 times a plus h minus 1 minus 2a squared plus 3a plus 1. All over. Oh, well, minus 3. You passed the test. Good job, guys. You passed my test. Good job. So this is over h, and this is lim as h approaches 0. So there's my equation right there. I told you this is big algebra. Problem is, can I just sub in h equals to 0 right away? Nope. Go ahead. I want you to solve this. So if I were to simplify this, watch what I'm going to do. This becomes 2. Here's where you got to be careful. This expands out to a squared plus 2ah plus h squared plus 3a plus 3h. The minus 1s will cancel out. Minus 2a squared minus 3a. All over h. It looks almost pretty, but not yet. That's your next line, guys. So if I did this, I get 2a squared plus 4ah plus 2h squared plus 3a plus 3h minus 2a squared minus 3a. I see that this 2a squared cancels out. I see 3a's cancel out. And what I'm really left with is this. 2h squared plus 4ah plus 3h all over h. I see the top, I can factor out an h. I factor out the h. Gives you 2h plus 4a plus 3 over h. This h cancels. Therefore, the moment that cancels out, life is good. Because then why? I can sub in the value for h now. Lim, as h approaches 0, of 2h plus 4a plus 3. If I did this correctly, you should have 4a plus 3. This is the equation for slope of tangent line. So which means, we're going to test this theory out and see if it works. I asked you for the slope of the tangent line at 1, 4. Find slope. at 1, comma 4. Go ahead, plug it in and find the slope for me, please. By the way, this value is a is your x term, which is x1. This is your a value right here. So if I plug it in, I go 4 times 1 plus 3. Hey, that equals to that 7. Okay. Back when you first started right here, where was it? See? There's your slope. 7. You found your slope to be 7.002, but that was inaccurate because you were guessing. But when you use this formula right here, it gives you the most accurate way of doing it, which is 7. So therefore, my slope is 7. Then you can go back and go y equals to 7x plus b. And you go through the same process again. Okay. Try this question. I ban you from using sub-in numbers. You cannot go 0.00001 because that's inaccurate. Calculus is all about accurate because in engineering, it has to be flawless. I want you to find the equation of the slope. Actually, I shouldn't say equation slope. Forget, I want you to find the slope of the tangent line. Make your life easier. Slope of tangent line at x equals to 6 for f of x equals to root x. Simon saying, so that's easy. I type in 6.00001. The answer is no. That gives you a 0 on the test because that's inaccurate. You're supposed to use the definition of a formula to figure it out. This will be your super no question for today. Good luck. I'm going to pause it. If I go, I'm going to use my formula lim. As h approaches 0, of f of a plus h minus f of x over h. Oh, sorry, f of a. So now this becomes a plus h minus root a over h. I can't sub it in yet because why? I get undefined. So I've taught you technique before, and this was the conjugate technique. So we're going to multiply this by, whoop, too big. I'm going to multiply this by a plus h plus root a over a plus h plus root a, which will give you a plus h plus, here comes the tricky part, a times a plus h minus a times a plus h minus a over h times root a plus h plus root a. Okay? The a's will cancel out. This will cancel out. So what you're really left on top is just a simple h. And thank goodness there's an h on the bottom. So this h cancels out. So what you're really left with is a plus h plus root a, which I'm taking the limit of that, which becomes 1 over 2 root a. So now I asked you for a equals to 6. So the answer is going to be 1 over 2 root 6. Or you should rationalize it. You always rationalize it. That should be root 6 over 12. Voila! It sounds tricky and tough, but it's not. Your work. So your work is page 122, numero 7 to 11, and 18. Actually, we'll do 19. That's it. And you can do odd. Not that much. I want you to practice this.